Hello everyone, welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. It's Saturday, that means we do another reply to John over at Thrifty Caniffy's open tag, which is Super Sack Saturday. Very simple, wish some more of you guys would join in, really would be appreciated. Show a Swiss Army knife on a Saturday, that's pretty much it. Show whatever you want, talk about whatever you want about it. But today we're going to be taking a look at a discontinued one, and it's a 58mm, which works out to about 2.25 inches in total length. And this is the Rover. So John actually did one on the Rover a couple weeks back. I will link it up the top here somewhere. But that was with the emergency trach blade, so the little tiny Warncliffe blade. This is sort of the standard Rover we're going to look at today. So I did pick this up off the secondary market, and as you can see, the scales are really nice, and that's because they're new. The scales I picked this up in were sort of like an advertising, like a matte green, but they did have quite a bad crack on the back side. So I did sort of change those out for nice new red ones. I did see if I could find some more of the original advertising ones, but I just can't find them anywhere. But the Rover then, this one we're looking at is model number 0.6113. It's 58mm in total. It's a one-layer design. Do get the keyring up the top here as well. Nice small keyring. I really wish they'd use this size on all their models. Sometimes the 91mm, so they're only like a one layer, and that big keyring, it does get quite chunky, so I tend to buy more of these smaller ones and swap them out when I get a new larger one. You can see we have the red scales on this. As I mentioned, these were changed out, but these are really nice original from Victorinox little red scales. You can see you've got the inlaid Victorinox shield there as well, done absolutely perfectly. As you'd expect, the fit and finish is a solid 10 out of 10. With everything I've had from Victorinox, I've not had a problem with anything. On the front then, you do get the tweezers, very useful for picking up small parts if you're working on modern knives, maybe the ball bearings fall out. And as well as that, obviously fantastic for taking splinters out of your hand. And that's generally what mine get used for most. On the back side of the knife then, we have the toothpick, another very useful tool, a bit of kit. Don't really use it to pick my teeth, I will say, due to, you know, the hygiene of it being in and out of a knife. I tend to use it for cleaning out phone charger ports, any sort of ports on the back of torches, you know, when they get a bit of dust and lint in from being in your pocket. I find it very useful for that. We also get the little pen blade on there too, and you can see this being an older one, we do have the 4-line tang stamp which says Victorinox Switzerland stainless rostfrei. Rostfrei obviously being I think German for rust free, could be wrong. Do have a nice little edge on there. I did sharpen this up myself when I got it. It was a little bit dull, but just give it a nice manual edge on there with a little ceramic stone, and it's nice and sharp, ready for use. You can see it has been used a little bit, but there's nothing major, no real scratches or any sort of nicks in the blade. And you can see we still have that really wonderful finish that Victorinox do. It's like that semi-polished, sort of tumbled finish. Nice clean nail nick on there as well. And then a nice little point on the end of the blade. And one thing I will say with the older models, especially of the 58mm, the walk and talk was definitely a bit stronger in the pulls back then of the older models. I wish they'd go back to doing the stronger pulls. This is about, don't get me wrong, it's not like a 10, it's a 5 at most. But the newer ones being about a 4, I wish they would go back to being this sort of strength. I mean, you can hear the snap on the blades and on the close as well. Just really nice little walk and talk. Blade length then on this 58mm, tip to tang, we're just over 1.5 inches with a cutting edge just shy of 1.4 inches. And I mean, look at the size of it. It's pretty much obviously UK legal and world legal in most places you're allowed to carry a knife. On the back then, we have the same tool as you would find on the Victorinox Classic, not the Classic SD, which is the nail cleaner and the nail file as well. You can see it's that sort of diamond dust style. Doesn't look like it's been used at all. This is in very good condition, this particular tool, when I picked this one up. Victorinox finish on the blade as you'd expect, and honestly I really love what they do with the finishes. Nice little nail nick on there as well, and you can see the sort of tapers down to be a nice thin point for cleaning out your nails. I have used this as well for taking scales off other Victorinox models. It does work very well for that. It is quite a fine point, and you can get it just about under the scales without damaging them at all. But again, really nice snap on that tool. Wish they'd go back to that. And then what makes it the Rover compared to sort of a classic SD, a classic or any other model is it replaces the scissors for this 58mm combo tool. And what you will notice is different as well from the Rambler, which I've shown previously if you're familiar with any of my videos, that it's not a Phillips head screwdriver, it's actually a flathead screwdriver on this, back when they were more prevalent than the Phillips were. So you do get a nice flathead screwdriver on there. Of course, you get the wire bender and the cap lifter. And this is one of the most comfortable tools to use on a 58mm model. You can see you have that nice sort of groove there for your thumb to go, and then your forefinger can sort of sit underneath it. Use it as a cap lifter, use it as a screwdriver. You can also use this as a little pry bar if you wish. I wouldn't go putting too much pressure on it, you know, as it's just pinned between two thin bits of aluminium. You can see that there. Really nicely done. A little bit of use on the back. You can see where it's been used, maybe as a screwdriver or as a pry by the previous owner. But overall, the condition was fantastic of all the tools and things. It just, the scales got absolutely battered. I don't know, maybe it was dropped or it got jammed between something and they cracked, which is a bit of a shame. I still have them, but, you know, once I took them off, the back scale is actually in two pieces, so I didn't want to sort of try and glue it back together. I thought it was better just to give it a new lease of life and pop on some new scales, and I went, obviously, for the classic red. But the action on this one as well, definitely about a 5 pull and a 5 on the brake, and you can really hear that walk and talk on there as well. But this has really been my sort of focus of late. I've been really looking for the old style Victorinox, older models that are discontinued, especially older Wengers as well. I've just really enjoyed collecting these, and this one is one I'm very glad to have to my collection. Of course, I'm very jealous of John's with the trach blade. I'm going to have to see if I can find that. The trach blade, of course, being the emergency blade or Warncliffe blade. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try and pick up one of those. Yes, it's not fair, John. I wish I had one of them. But there we go, guys. That's my review of the Victorinox Rover. That is a 58mm model. Unfortunately, it's no longer available, so you will have to pick it up off the secondary market. And again, that's model number 0.6113. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.